I am so excited to have Suzanne Alexander, to me, Suzi, uh, with me today, with you today. She just said hello and she was honored to be here. Why don't you tell the group what it means to you to be here? Why is that an honor?
It's an honor because I so respect you and appreciate you, and you've been instrumental in my healing. So it's an honor to be asked to talk about my experience on your show. And I love you. So it's an honor to be with you, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Susie. And I wanted to hear what it meant to you because we've intermittently said, maybe you should come on the show and talk about that or this. And it probably never was quite right because it never came together. But we've had this idea. And there are many people in this community who know you. And that's kind of fun to see somebody have an exchange live when they know the person. And so, just as a little background, and Susie and I don't exactly know what we're going to talk about. We haven't planned it. I saw a post Susie made on Facebook about a climb, hike. I don't know if you call it a hike or a climb. To me, it's a climb because it's beyond just walking. And I asked her after I told you that you inspire me. Would you come on the show? And you said yes. So I definitely want to talk about that. But it's also perfect because you're the demographic that I'm trying to talk to about aging. And I know that's something that you've brought up before. Um, I think that aging is particularly hard on beautiful women. And I consider you one of those because our culture loves youth and beauty is based on smooth skin and taut skin and a certain body type that youth have. And so, if you've never been beautiful, because I've been fat and obese and it's I've noticed it's a little easier on people who've never had that sticker, that identity of the beautiful woman. But we'll get into that later. Let's talk about let's talk about the hike. What was it? The climb? Tell us about it. You went with Alex, your husband?
I went with Alex, and 10 years ago, we climbed Mount Washington in New Hampshire. And a lot of people have the bumper sticker, a car climbed Mount Washington. But we actually did it. It was really hard. It took us, I don't know, 10 hours. And it was a steep boulder climb,
Mm.
crazy. And then we've done tons of hiking and camping, and I love the outdoors. So does Alex very much. His whole career was outside. And we went to Baxter State Park in Maine, which is owned by the people of Maine. And we fell in love with it. And we went for our first time was a hike up a peak called Owl Peak. And some young guy said, "Yeah, that's an easy one to start with." Well, it was actually a vertical climb. And I thought that was nuts. And then we did it. It was just like we randomly did it our first day a few years ago. And I said, if you could do that, we could come back and do Katahdin. Katahdin is the end of the Appalachian Trail. It's a sacred mountain to the Penobscot Indians. It means the greatest mountain. And the Penobscots had it in their history and spiritual beliefs to be a place of rebirth and just a sacred place. So I'm like, let's do it. It's going to be hard, but we'll do it. We did Mount Washington. So we did that last year, and we did a trail that was challenging and a trail back down that was challenging. And then we said, well, we had some dinner in a pub called the Knife Edge. So that's the hardest trail. And I go, well, I feel like we should have done the Knife Edge so we could really sit here and say we did the Knife Edge. So the Knife Edge Trail is 1.1 miles and it took us 2.5 hours. I marsupialed across because it was sharp rocks. There was nowhere to put your feet. And it was to the summit of Katahdin after we did a 5-hour hike up the Helon Taylor Trail. So it's all sounds nuts and how did I do it and why and all of that. And I just felt a push inside me, a pull to do it. And I started talking to people that I was going to do this knife edge. And it seemed very, kind of really edgy. And it seemed daring to talk about it because I was putting it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I felt, it was an energy that I was gathering to go and do this. And whether we could do it or not, I didn't know. So anyway, everything just became completely synchronistic on our journey up there. Alex and I were in sync. We had fun listening to all our favorite music that we share.
Mm-hmm.
And we went and did a hike the first day after we set up camp and decided we would just go do the trail, do the knife edge the next day. And magically, we got into a parking spot and it took us 11 and a half hours to do the whole trail.
My God.
And I was wobbling a little bit coming down in the semi-dark towards our truck, but there was no part of me that said, I can't do this. I mean, these were steep. There was one place called the Chimney that you had to get over before you actually got onto the knife edge, which is still another 500 feet in incline or Mount Katahdin's over 5,000 feet. So once we got, the chimney was basically climbing, if you envision a chimney on someone's house with a little bit of places to put your feet, that was the first part to do.
Amazing. Let me just stop you a second. How did you said you never doubted that you could do it, but did you have ups and downs emotionally while you're doing all this hard stuff, or did you stay steady inside?
I stayed 100% steady and it was 1 foot at a time. I had to look down for each step because there was no flat
Mhm.
surface to put my foot.
And was there any variation between you and Alex in emotional? Like, did you get a little more supportive and the other one take turns, or did you both just stay so steady that there wasn't that kind of communication?
Uh, it was unspoken communication. He got a little step coming up the chimney. He's 6'2" and just a bigger guy. And I just limbered up and went down and I thank yoga for that. And then he was there the whole time and he got a little bit ahead of me on the knife edge. And there was one part which is basically a sheer drop down of 4,000 something feet. And
Oh,
I had to like three parts of contact, two hands, and then stepping and moving my hands. And right behind me was a sheer drop. And I felt no fear. And that
mm.
was the amazing, I mean,
Tell me
I
about no fear. Did, when you say I felt no fear, I understand, I think everybody does what that means. It means you didn't feel fear. But was it, I could die, looking down, I could die, and that's okay? Or that kind of thought doesn't even occur to you?
the thought never occurred to me. And and that, talking about it now is really interesting because I didn't know how I was going to feel or what it was
Mhm.
going to be like. But I went into just a zone of knowing that I am going to do this. There's not one thought of I can't.
It sounds like you were carried, Suzi. It does
I
feel.
asked the angels. I asked the angels to carry me, and I had asked recently to let go of all my fear just on a separate note.
Yes.
Yeah, and it this this ability to do it, to actually do what I did, because I don't consider myself like a workout junkie or anything like that. And people were saying that we met, there was a guide that we met halfway across, some wonderful people. And this guy takes people up and down Katahdin. And he asked us what trail we took. And we said with the Helon Taylor. He goes, he goes, I never take people up that trail. So
Too
just
hard.
doing that trail, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, this is awesome. And we still had a long way to go. And it wasn't, I felt like great about myself. I was just glad we chose that trail because it didn't seem honestly very hard to me. I mean, it was, but we did it and I didn't think about it after that. We just kept one foot in front of the other.
So you started to say that Alex is a bigger guy, and there was a moment you could, was it he got scared, or you could feel that he wasn't as sure-footed, or what was it?
He got a little hung up on that chimney before we actually hit the trail, and he told me afterwards, and there's nothing I could have done. He could have fallen a
Yeah.
hundred, 200 feet,
Mhm.
and he didn't.
Mhm.
And it was when he was actually walking on the knife edge, these sharp, very sharp points. There's a little crystal, but it was very sharp. Everything was sharp, and he was able to walk. And I was, as I said, all fours for a lot of it. And
Mhm.
then he mentioned a hawk flying by at eye level. He goes, "Oh, look at the hawk." And I'm thinking it broke my concentration and I wanted to say like, please don't talk to me. And I didn't. I didn't want to be mean or rude. And
Yeah.
but right after that, someone came up behind me and I said, you could pass. And
Mhm.
he goes, no. He goes, I'm fine being behind you. And between those two things, I fell. I got both my feet stuck in crags and I went down sideways. And I hurt, got a bruise on my bum and I hurt my arm a little bit but I got right up, didn't feel a thing, didn't feel my arm or the bruise, and I just kept going. But I did tell Alex, I said, that it broke my concentration. Um, he goes, oh, I just, pointing out the hawk. I said, oh, I know, but it doesn't work for me. I really needed to be 100%
Mhm.
focused.
Mhm.
So that was the only time that came up.
Yeah, I think that's so important. You're telling us something that we can probably all take away, even if we're not hikers. And if we change the word concentration, which is perfect for what you are doing, and substitute focus. It's a distraction when the mind says you're not good enough. Oh God, there's a hawk. Oh, can I pass? Am I in this person's way? All the mind chatter took you off your focus. And if we could all just even stop right here. We're not gonna, but we could stop right here. This is such a pearl because we could, there's a word that starts with Z, and it's not meditation. And it's when you think about a word. Can you help me find the word when you're I want to say collaborating, but it's not what I mean. It's like meditation, it's like concentration, but you let your mind, in a way, collaborate on a subject. So let's just, I won't get caught on the word I'm looking for, but if we all say, what do we want our focus to be? For some people in this community, it would be Holy Spirit. For other people, it would be God. For some people, it would be Jesus. For other people, it would be the self with a capital S. I've heard people now say the one, meaning I'm the one, you're the one, we're the one. That takes people, but where do we want our focus? Because when I wrote that book and said, don't add on to it, this is a piece that's not in the book. If you have a focus, when you stop adding on to, oh my God, I'm in this man's way. Does he need to pass? Like whatever that thing is in our life, I'm too fat or I'm not smart enough or whatever the mind's, it's all the same. We get so caught up in focusing, concentrating on what the mind offers that we miss this being carried that you had, which you got back to.
Mhm.
You got back to. And there's one other thing I want to point out from what you said that means a lot to me, and that you noticed that talking took you away. That wouldn't be the same for everyone. Uh, and when I hike with my husband, it's nothing like what you do, not even close. But I can't do it his way. His way is to make up, we're almost there. He doesn't know where we are. And he'll say, it's right around the corner. And after it took me maybe 10 years to realize actually he doesn't know. And the effect it has on me when it's wrong, when it's not just around the corner, I get defeated, I get angry, I feel overwhelmed and frustrated when I wasn't before you told me it's right around the corner. So you figured out what you need, and now we have a pact. Don't tell me. That helps you, but don't tell me what you think. And I'll find out when we're there. So, wow. And and you say you're not an athlete and you say you're an outdoor person. Have you always done adventure kinds of things like this? Like stretching, pushing. That's what I'm calling adventure, not
Well,
just going a new place.
physically, I'm not a big person, but I feel like a big dog. I need a lot of exercise, and I love to move, and uh, and part of my journey now is to take the other side of that coin and relax more when I want to. Uh, yeah,
And that's hard for you, right? That's
yes, it's hard, but it is honestly getting a little bit easier all the time. I saw a notice, like a little framed thing in my functional medicine physician's office the other day, and I've seen it for years. And it said, "You must do the hard work you think you cannot do."
mm,
And I love that. I saw it for, I don't know, 8 years. Wow, I love that. I should take a picture of it. I love it. So I saw it yesterday, and I go, wow, that's it.
I'm
I have been
mm,
doing that hard work that I thought I couldn't do. And my friend Kelly
mhm,
reminded me about angels,
mhm,
and I asked them, like, I wanted to see, I want visuals. I'm a visual person. I didn't get visuals, but I made it up that chimney as if I had someone, like I couldn't fall. Like that was the mindset. So
mhm.
whether it's the mindset or physical arms, it was help.
Wow.
And yeah.
Oh, it's kind of like what I associated to is, this part of my story, and most people do. But when Melissa, my daughter, first died, I did the usual human thing, all the emotions. Susie and I are both fours on the Enneagram, so we could do feelings like somebody else. If we decide to let it rip, we can let it rip. But once I was told and shaken and shown that actually nothing changed, I could still have all the feelings, and she was still dead, but actually I was okay. And it was not the words of okay, it was the knowing, the being carried. The carried started at that moment. And I can actually always go back to it as a frequency behind what's going on, like you can now. If you remember that energy, we could describe it as no fear, but it was actually a something. It was where your personality was not that much part of it. Yes, you fell and you could feel the body had a few owies, but it did not take your focus. You were still carried. And I hesitate to bring that up because, it sounds like, oh, lucky you. But actually it's available to everyone. It's like you found it on a mountain. You've had
Hmm.
it other times. We all have it. We have it sometimes when we're sleeping. We have experiences sometimes when we're waking, sometimes when there's nothing in between emotional prompts or in between the thoughts. When we didn't notice there was nothing, it was something. The mind wasn't chattering. We were being carried. Maybe we finished the dishes. Maybe we puttered around the house because we don't count it because we're not on a mountain and a chimney and we're not noticing. We were actually just free for the last 40 minutes. So actually, I'm encouraging everyone to look for those moments where we think there's nothing, that there's actually something when we're not leading the way with our minds. I'm calling minds even the emotions and
Mm.
the whole thing. They talk to each other, support each other. So, let's see, we're both fours on the Enneagram, and this is what's so fascinating because you have a stronger three wing, and I have probably a stronger five wing. So what that means is I more like your husband, or I have to study things. I think you have both as well, for sure. And I have three as well. But I can't push myself or work as hard. And I'm physically, do you know the Ayurvedic system? Kapha.
Yes. Yeah.
So are you a Vata?
I'm actually all three. I had it done by an Indian person. Yeah.
I did as well. And I'm 100% pure kapha, which means that I'm sedentary by nature and movement is the last thing I desire. I would rather sit and read a book or meditate or anything else. I mean, I do things and have, but so it's so interesting that our bodies and our nature, our biology
Mhm.
plays a role in all of this too, in addition to these systems. But someone like you inspires me. It was not just a compliment I gave you. It was, I can apply this to my life. And when you said that what you saw at the functional medicine you must do, the hard work you think you cannot do. I would apply that to talking about death. I have moments, I had one this morning where I woke up and I'm like, oh my God, that Musings didn't say enough. I told people this, but I didn't say how. And it was like, why am I even doing this? This is too hard. This is too like it's so complicated. There's so many layers. And then I hear what you say, you must do the hard work, which you think you can't do. And and so where you would apply it first, maybe, did you apply it first to the physical?
No, in life, years ago, I I worked in a health food store. I had a degree in psychology, worked in a health food store, bought and, I was a manager, and I stepped out of my small town and got a job um, traveling, and I became a trainer for one of the supplement companies that I ended up working for 9 years.
And we're a star, I'm sure.
My doing the trainings, I got offered the regional sales manager position within a year, and it just kept getting more and more. But I had to step out of comfort zone and travel all around and train groups of Whole Food staff. Regional groups of 40 people.
Well,
And how I did that, I still don't know. I just knew enough and I was passionate enough and felt good and
yeah,
connected with people, and it happened. And
yes,
it was really, out of my comfort zone. I'm on the Enneagram, I'm a last stack is social.
yeah,
Uh, yeah. And so I would go do that, and then I would go to my hotel room and recharge, not even knowing anything about the Enneagram at that
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But I did really well stepping out of my comfort zone, even though I gave it to the Holy Spirit every time before I
Mhm.
started talking to a group.
Yeah. And that is something about force that we have in common. And are you self-preservation, or I think you're intimate is your strongest, right?
Uh, I think
About
they're neck and
it.
neck. Recently, I'm thinking they're neck and neck, but it's definitely self-preservation a tad bit more.
Okay. So um self-preservation, we never talked about this in our classes, but self-preservation fours can become dauntless, reckless. That's the expression. And that means we can push it to the edge, even though self-preservation is about self-care. We can do the opposite. And as fours, push it. Um, But also, the other side of dauntless reckless is we can be afraid of groups, we can hate traveling, we can not want to do it and then do it anyway, and then be a star because we have that ability, that intensity, and the desire to be at our edge. There is a desire in force to be at our edge. Right? I see it in your face. You
Oh,
understand it.
yeah, and then I took it to the knife edge. So that was like the culmination of that, I think, for
Yeah.
me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's poetry. That is poetry. Yes. Yes. So if you don't know the Enneagram or human design, see if one of those or some other program puts together some of these things. It's not like you need them, you don't. But it helps amplify your strengths and your vulnerabilities. And so that you can notice them, so you can use awareness to see, oh, that's a fourth thing. That isn't the truth. That's just a fourth thing. Ah, that book that everybody's talking about, Let Them. Have you
Mhm.
heard that book? Yeah, that's my kind of my attitude toward feelings. Let them speak. Okay, let them. Doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean I need to follow up. It's allowed to speak. All feelings are allowed to speak. So, what would you say to someone, Susie, who doesn't have, I would say, even your ambition, in the sense that you get fired up when you hear, oh, there's this other hike, and maybe you get inspired. But someone like me who's not inspired, I do these things because life has brought me a husband and a daughter and health rules that say move, um, but it's not in me. What would you say to find their inspiration? Or would you say go to art, go to music, go to nature, go everywhere and watch yourself and see where your response is? What would you say? Because I think everybody benefits by passion, by having, you don't have to be a four to be lit up. All the Enneagrams have their ways to light up. And I think we need that. What do you think about that?
Well, I've come to believe it starts with self-kindness, like loving kindness towards self. And I believe from that space, the just everything comes. I mean, if we're
Oh,
not,
if I'm sitting home going, oh, I'm so fat, and oh, I'm old, and I'm a has-been, and oh, look at how they treated me yesterday, and that I'm not going to find inspiration. Is that what you're saying?
oh
If I'm
gosh,
opposite of loving kindness, which is allowing that kind of self-talk to take over.
that's a tricky one because I've definitely spent a lot of time in that dark place. I would call it dark for me. Self-loathing, I'm very familiar with it. Self-hatred, just guilt. Um, I've spent 50 years uh, finding a way out of that headspace. And
Would you say the way out is through? Because
the way out is through.
yeah, because people try to avoid it and then it lingers.
The way out is through, and the way for someone out of it is going to be unique to them. But I feel like that journey is the journey of self, you know, kindness, being kind to yourself. And
How do you find that when every thought is so withholding, so cringeworthy, but that's where you are? Can we take a minute and I'll be that person? Because I actually had a moment this morning when I was saying, why are you doing that? And you didn't say this, and they're not going to know how, and you're making it sound too easy. Those aren't self-deprecating, but they're critical. They're not my usual flow place. It definitely woke me up, got my attention, and then I opened. So let's both pretend we were having one of those moments, and maybe in our audience, when was the last time you were judgmental toward yourself? And let's make a space around the judgment. Invite it in. Okay, where are you located? For me, it was actually around my stomach, and I felt almost nauseous or constipated. It was very unusual feeling. Where are you feeling yours, Susie? Are you doing this with me?
I am. And interestingly enough, it's the same place.
Oh,
Uh,
that's interesting. Oh,
Truly like a constipated feeling.
and so what happened this morning actually tickled me because it felt like there was a self with a capital S, capital E, capital L, capital F holding me and like, bring it on. Okay, you're feeling this way? And it was like I got an embrace. I had never had this experience looking inside my body. What if the container of your body, Suzi, was holding this knot, this constipated, nauseous feeling? Let's just allow that a minute to be held by like an umbrella embrace. It was allowed, the feelings are allowed. Tell me if anything's happening, Suzi.
Yeah, I'm a lot more relaxed in that area now.
Mm,
And
yeah.
yeah,
So it didn't take very long, but maybe it's like the angels. You expected it, you asked for it, you had it within your consciousness. And maybe if we all believe, know, live from our spiritual beliefs, that there is something always holding us, and that is physically true because we're contained in a body. And rather than having the body be the enemy, which it is for many of us, that it become just the vessel of the one. And we get to, once try out that word, the one, with the you're the one, Suzi, and I'm the one, and we're the one, all of us, no matter our actions. We can make people culpable for their actions, but it's a different meaning than deserving. So we can be the one if we believe in anything other than we're just bodies, and that's all there is. So if there's a belief in God, Mother Nature, the universe, Christianity, Jesus, Holy Spirit, whatever our language, it's time to bring it to everyday activities, whether they're extreme climbing and hiking like Suzi did, or whether they're talking about aging like I'm doing and death, that feel monumental sometimes. They feel like, who are you? Or this is too big. And we have to do that work anyway, just because if we're drawn to it, it's ours. How are you feeling now, Suzi?
I feel wonderful. I thought of well, the quote from Yoda came to me yesterday, and it was, "There is no try." And yeah, I mean, to know that there's nothing wrong with me, because I had that thought, that was my, I look in the mirror and there's something wrong somewhere, or the clothes don't fit right, or
Yeah,
I remember things that were said to me that were mean or cruel, and they must be true.
yeah,
And then just to like not have those thoughts, it's really just really, to me, it's choosing freedom, choosing my freedom from going for my freedom, however it ends up showing up for anybody else is unique. But it's only something I can do. Like something can't say, I grant you freedom, and touch your
It has to be claimed. It has to be
flame.
taken. It has to be
Exactly.
claimed.
I, and
Absolutely.
and I claimed my freedom on another mountain peak just last week,
Mm.
South Turner Mountain, on another hike we did, and that was not a very tall hike, but it was 6.5 miles, so it was long. It was that, and then there was Black Cat Mountain right next to it, and right between them, I said, you know what? I'm claiming my freedom now.
It's so beautiful. Yeah, we all have, it's kind of a combination of you're at the doorway. And what I wanted to tweak about trying is we can say that up until now, we've tried, whatever the now is, up until now, we've tried. And now we're going to do it. And in order to do it, it's not a promise about tomorrow. I'm going to go on a diet tomorrow. We all know that. Or I'm going to do this tomorrow. It's about now. And I claim it and I take it. I never get a lot of resonance with the word take, but you've heard me say babies have to take the milk. You can put the breast in their mouth, you can put the bottle in their mouth, but they will not thrive without taking it. And we take our freedom, we claim it, and making friends with the word take can be a doorway to power. And power doesn't need to be a bad word, even if some people abuse power. We are given a power, and that's going to be my theme very soon in a musing. So thank you, Suzi, for being here today. You and I could go on for hours. We definitely could. And I love having you here today.
Thank you,
Thank
Roz.